everyone, this is Jackie and Faith. We're on the HX team and we're going to do a fun Q&A with you guys. So thanks for sending in your questions and we'll just get right to it. First one is, when picking a breakaway prospect to start, do you prefer the already broke trained reining cow horses, reiners, or just as well broke greener horses to build on? And at what point and for what reasons do you decide the prospect just isn't going to work to make a tip-top breakaway horse?
So my favorite animals to have are, I love the reining cow horses, the working cow horses, just because they are so broke. They've already learned to take the pressure of the running and the stopping, and they're just so easy to transition into rope horses. I don't mind looking at a 2-year-old that I think has the stuff that I want in him, but I'm going to get that horse trained to a point that he's very broke before I ever put it in the roping pen. So I love, the broker the horse, the better. Obviously, I don't pass on a whole lot of horses that I like. I kind of have an addiction of them, so I'll always be willing to send them off. Now, when it comes to when I say send them off, I mean send them off to get trained or get broker or get used outside. I think that a horse really needs a job outside and having to work before he gets put in the arena. So as far as like when they kind of make the pull, it just depends. Once I get them to a certain point and I realize that maybe their stride isn't just right for what I want when they get to a full run, or maybe they're just not going to be quick-footed enough, or maybe they're just not going to be good-minded enough, like maybe they've got the talent but the mind isn't going to be there. This is my kid yelling. Then it might be time to do something different with them.
Here's another one for you.
Okay.
We see the exclamation point with you a lot.
Mhm.
That's your brand.
Mhm.
So give us the rundown on that, where that started.
So I was looking for a brand a long time ago, and I wanted it to be a symbol. I didn't want it to be my initials, or I'd seen everything with a J that could possibly be made, and I didn't want to use JH, so I'm like, well, hopefully one day I get married, and so my initials like that. So I wanted a symbol, and so I was actually reading a book on Ian Francis. He's one of the greatest, Australian horsemen there's ever been, and so he had a book, and on the sides of this book it would be quotes. And so on that quote it said, always be an exclamation, not an explanation. And I was like, oh man, I've seen dollar signs, I've seen all sorts of things, I've never seen an exclamation. So I thought, it kind of fits everything. It fits everything that you want, whether it be wow or it be oh geez, or whatever it may be, it fits. So I thought that's a really cool one.
Okay, what were some struggles you went through on getting to where you are today?
Life. Struggles. I think that, one thing that I had to know growing up is that just because my stuff might not have been as nice as everyone else's, or started with the best prospects, or started with whatever, that in my mind I had to realize that anything was still attainable no matter what. If you want it bad enough, don't make an excuse about it. You'll figure out a way to get it. You'll figure out a way to win. You'll figure out a way to take one horse and turn it into a better horse and make money on that horse. And and just really, I think that was the biggest struggle for me, is to figure out that if you want it bad enough, you really don't have an excuse.
Yeah. How do you teach your horse to leave the box at the right moment?
It starts from day one, and that starts from a walk, from being able to pick that horse up and have that horse in the mouth. And it even starts with the horse being broke out in the arena. But from day one, when I put the horse in the box, I encourage the horse, like as soon as I lean forward and my left hand moves even a little bit forward, I want that horse walking to try to find my left hand with his mouth. And so just really, really, going over that time and time again, it just, they pick it up and they start to realize that when your left hand moves forward, their body's supposed to move forward.
Next one, what's the best rope for a beginner to start with, do you think?
I really love the Vipers and the Strikers. And if you're a beginner, I don't think you need to go get a real heavy rope, especially little kids. I think that a small rope, a 9.0, 9.5 is plenty. And the Vipers and the Strikers are really soft. They still have a lot of tip weight, and they're just really great ropes for anybody starting.
So what exercises do you do, like on the dummy, besides just standing there roping it? I know you do a lot of different things at your clinics. Do you want to tell people about that?
Yeah, we do tons of stuff at the clinics. We rope them right, we rope them left, we rope them on different feet. We just, anything you can do to change it up and be different and learn how to move your rope around and change your rope around is going to be beneficial.
What's your favorite roping memory?
It's hard to beat Chicago. It's hard to beat.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat the Windy
Yeah, it would
City.
be.
It really is. That's one that will be forever. You know, just something that was cool to me because it was I went to back to my home state. You know, it's the first time that breakaway roping was put into at a professional level. First time a breakaway roper won 50,000, and it just, I don't know, that one's cool to me, and it's neat how they do it because they bring back the top two, and it's kind of a head-to-head match, and so packed house and just 50 grand. And
I remember
it
your
was
face.
just, man, it was so awesome. I love that one.
Okay, well here's a good one. Not everyone has like dummies or cattle, so how can you practice without having that?
You know, when I grew up, my mom, we had a piece of plywood, and we put a bale of hay on it with a calf head and hooked a rope to it, and she pulled it off of another horse. And so there's always a way. We didn't have the fancy dummies. We didn't have any of that. And so there's always a way to figure out a way to practice or get your horse better. You know, those dummies go a long ways, you know, because you can, I would almost take my whole calf herd than take my dummies away, because that's the only thing you can break down and really get things correct on.
What is the funniest thing that you have roped besides a dummy? Besides a calf?
Funniest?
Yeah.
Well, one time I was at my friend's place and I guess I technically didn't get to rope it, but I roped at it one time and got my rope hit. And so, but we were branding out at their place. It's actually in Montana, and a bear came across there, and we actually ended up roping the bear and turned it loose. But I really don't know what I would have done if I'd actually got a good shot at it, but I don't know. But that was pretty neat. Yeah, that was something pretty different than the normal calf.
What happens in Montana?
I know, right?
Guys have done that. Wow.
I know.
Thank you guys for watching and sending in questions, and remember to use your hay chicks.
Yep.
Ride for the king and feed like a boss.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, guys.